workday began again with a scandal. Gregory Evans, the head of the department, often had fights not only with the staff, but also with the patients. He was known for berating nurses for minor mistakes, accusing doctors of incompetence during meetings, and even yelling at patients who challenged his decisions. In one instance, he publicly humiliated a junior nurse for a misplaced folder, bringing her to tears, and in another, he argued with a patient's family over a treatment plan, dismissing their concerns as irrelevant. These confrontations created an atmosphere of fear and tension. Everyone was on edge and hesitant to interact with him. He dismissed all claims and believed he was always right. He ended up letting everyone down, and everyone was afraid of him. John, a young surgeon, after a couple months on the job, already had to deal with his supervisor's hard temper. Gregory Evans did not tolerate being told what to do. His diagnoses and treatments could not be challenged. Other doctors were afraid to contradict the boss, and John, full of energy, found it tiresome. The young doctor often spoke the truth without hesitation, and had already intervened with his opinion several times in operations, including once pointing out Gregory Evans' mistakes. Gregory considered John an inexperienced rookie, but John eventually proved his worth with decisive action. During one critical surgery, John pointed out an overlooked detail that completely changed the course of the patient's treatment. Despite Gregory's initial denial, the correction saved the patient's life, leaving no doubt about John's competence. The success not only bolstered John's credibility, but also exposed to the entire team the sinfulness of Gregory himself. Much to Gregory's dismay, the head of surgery hated the young rookie for this, and often thought of ways to undermine him. Gregory figured John wouldn't last long in his position. When John came back on Gregory's radar, he decided to set him up for failure. He put John in charge of a patient who had already been diagnosed and practically signed his death warrant. Gregory taunted John by assigning him to take care of the patient and stating, "Here's a simple case. Prove you're a good specialist." Gregory's tone was sarcastic and his smirk emphasized his contempt. John, not noticing the ridicule, began to work hard. Instead of pleasing his boss, the young surgeon ended up saving a patient, an elderly woman named Nora Whitman. He discovered an error in the initial diagnosis made by a more experienced doctor. The case turned out not to be fatal at all. Had the surgery Gregory had planned been performed, Nora would have been sent to the other side of the world. John's meticulous approach not only saved her life, but also uncovered several inconsistencies in the department's handling of the diagnosis. For example, he found that hasty assessments were leading to errors in patient records, as well as a lack of cross-checking protocols, causing errors to go undetected. One case involved a misinterpreted scan that nearly led to unnecessary surgery, and another involved discrepancies in lab results that were not noted. These findings not only highlighted systemic problems, but also sparked a larger conversation among staff about the need for more rigorous vetting processes. Gregory, trying to save face, publicly praised John, saying that the whole thing was a test that the young surgeon had passed. However, he harbored a grudge against John and vowed to find another reason to humiliate him. Meanwhile, John's independent successes were impressing his colleagues. He took special care of Nora, constantly checking on her and monitoring her well-being. His dedication to his patients was becoming known, earning him admiration and distinguishing him as a compassionate physician. When it came time for discharge, John informed Nora that her health was no longer in danger and she could leave. Instead of joy, however, sadness appeared on her face. "I'm glad I'm alive," she said with a faint smile, "but I'll be on the streets again." John wondered in bewilderment why. He expected gratitude, perhaps even relief, but her answer was filled with despair. Nora told her tragic story. She had once been an energetic educator and writer, for decades inspiring young minds and sharing her passion for literature. In the last years of her life, however, her family turned their backs on her. Her daughter and son-in-law, driven by greed, took over her apartment and forced her out, leaving her to rely on the kindness of strangers. The stark contrast between the respect she had once enjoyed and her current situation emphasized the cruelty of her circumstances. Her daughter and son-in-law occupied her apartment, forcing her to leave it. Despite her attempts to reclaim her home, they refused to let her in, leaving her to fend for herself. John, unable to bear the thought of her homelessness, made a quick decision. He postponed her discharge, citing the need for more tests, and decided to discuss the matter with his wife Emily. The emotional intensity of Nora's story had a profound effect on John, awakening in him a deep sense of responsibility. Emily, who also works in the medical field, was moved by Nora's story and supported John's decision. However, Gregory found out and vehemently demanded Nora's immediate discharge. Despite the pressure, John brought Nora home. The elderly woman was surprised by the modest conditions in which John and Emily lived, but was deeply touched by their kindness. Their small one-bedroom apartment, though simple, radiated warmth and love, and Nora found comfort in it. During dinner, Nora shared her story. Her husband had passed away, and the responsibility of supporting the family had fallen on her shoulders. She talked about the long days spent working several jobs, including house cleaning and tutoring, to make ends meet. Despite her tireless efforts, she always made sure that her daughter had access to education and opportunities. However, the family for whom she made sacrifices betrayed her. Nora's ingenuity was remarkable. Over the years, she had managed to secretly save money by melting bits of gold into discreet nails and stashing them away for a rainy day. She worked late into the night when no one was around, using an old needlework kit she hid in a closet. Her meticulous attention to detail made the nails look perfectly ordinary, with their golden cores hidden beneath the dull exterior. She kept them in a weathered wooden box, safely hidden beneath the rickety floorboards, a place only she knew about. This method demonstrated not only her resourcefulness, but also her ability to adapt and protect her future despite the odds stacked against her. This resourcefulness revealed a woman who did not let life's hardships break her spirit, even when faced with unimaginable betrayal. She revealed that over the years she had secretly saved money by melting gold into nails to avoid detection. This box of nails, disguised as an ordinary box, held her savings. John and Emily were amazed. They had taken her in out of pure compassion, but her revelation added intrigue to her stay in their home. With Nora's savings, the couple moved to a larger home, preparing for the arrival of their first child. Nora moved in with them, eagerly awaiting the birth of their grandchild. Her story spread throughout the hospital, inspiring everyone. Soon John became head of the department, and Gregory was arrested for embezzlement. John's elevation to this position was due not only to Gregory's absence, but also to the trust he earned from both his colleagues and superiors. His constant dedication to patients, his ability to collaborate with team members, and his innovative solutions to department problems all set him apart. Under John's interim leadership, staff meetings became more inclusive, as he encouraged open dialogue and respected the opinions of others. This collaborative approach not only boosted morale, but also demonstrated John's readiness for the role. When the board evaluated candidates for the permanent position, John's name was chosen unanimously, ushering in a new era of integrity and compassion in the department. An investigation into Gregory's activities revealed years of corruption and deceit. Witnesses cited evidence of misappropriation of funds and forged documents. It turned out that Gregory had been spending department budgets for personal use, using fake invoices to cover his tracks. An accounting department whistleblower eventually tipped off authorities, prompting the audit. As the details unfolded, employees who had suffered under Gregory's tyranny felt a sense of vindication and relief. His downfall was a turning point for the hospital, paving the way for a new beginning under John's ethical and compassionate leadership. The young surgeon's kindness and determination turned him into a respected leader, proving that good deeds do pay off. As the weeks passed, Nora's presence transformed John and Emily's home. She brought with her much wisdom and an infectious spirit that revitalized the home. She cooked gourmet meals, often shared stories from her youth, and gradually became a beloved part of their lives. Her influence extended beyond their home. John was inspired by her resilience and used her story as motivation to advocate for better care for vulnerable patients in the hospital. Nora's case also sparked wider discussions in the medical community about patient care and support after discharge. John's colleagues began to look closely at their own practice, and initiatives were proposed to ensure that patients like Nora were not left to fend for themselves after recovery. The hospital administration, impressed with John's leadership and vision, began implementing changes that improved the overall condition of patients. Meanwhile, Gregory's arrest became the talk of the hospital. An investigation revealed that he had a record of financial mismanagement and unethical behavior. Staff who had previously feared him now felt relief and justice. Under John's leadership, the department flourished. He instituted new protocols, created a culture of teamwork, and ensured that every patient received equal and compassionate care. His journey from an underappreciated young surgeon to a respected department head became an inspiring example to his colleagues. Nora continued to thrive in her new environment. She became a caring grandmother to John and Emily's baby, bringing joy and stability to their growing family. In the mornings, she taught the baby old nursery rhymes and told stories from her youth, much to the baby's fascination. In the evening, she cooked hearty meals so that the family would always get together and share the day's experiences. One day, she even crafted a small wooden toy for the child using her late husband's tools, an act that filled the house with warmth and nostalgia. These moments not only brought the family closer together, but also cemented Nora's place as an irreplaceable part of their lives. In the mornings, she would teach the child old nursery rhymes and tell stories from her youth, much to the baby's fascination. In the evenings, she cooked hearty meals so that the family would always get together and share memories of the day. One day, she even crafted a small wooden toy for the child using her late husband's tools, an act that filled the house with warmth and nostalgia. These moments not only brought the family closer together, but also cemented Nora's place as an irreplaceable part of their lives. Her story served as a reminder that acts of kindness, no matter how small, can create ripples of positive change. For John, the experience reinforced his belief in the power of empathy and strengthened his commitment to his calling as a healer. In the end, not only did Nora find a new life, but so did everyone whose lives she touched.